Hi, I'm here at Porsche Centre Guildford. I'm with Tom. It's 10 minutes with Tom. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. What do you do? Where are we? Talk to me.
So Porsche Centre Guildford, our newly opened destination centre, which we've been building now for what will be 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Owned by Porsche, so manufacturer owned, which is lovely. I'm a general sales manager, so head of sales and responsible for everything that is sales within Porsche Centre Guildford.
And you've been open a few weeks.
Yes.
Very impressive.
Yes.
Looks great.
Thank you.
Very welcoming. So I wanted to sit and talk to you because kids today, young adults,
Yes.
16, 17, 18, they love the Porsche brand,
They do.
love the sports cars,
Yes.
and they've always got aspirations of coming into the motor industry.
Yes.
Okay, there's nothing better than a young person working on cars, getting into cars and looking at it. And I wanted to talk to you and sort of share with the young people today
Sure.
how that happens. So I'm 16, 17, 18, I've done my GCSEs, I've done my A-levels, I really want to work on Porsches, I want to get into, and I know you can't just say, I've left school and I'm now the sales manager, I
Yes.
get all of that,
Yes.
but I want to get my hands dirty,
Okay.
I want to work on cars.
Yes.
How does it start? What's the process? Sort of?
Yeah, it's relatively straightforward in terms of the application for that. So what's lovely about Porsche is that it's grown so much as a brand over the last 10 years in terms of number of centres and the volumes that we now see within the UK. So on the back of that means that we have to employ more people. And the motor industry has had a reputation in the past of being very old-fashioned, and it would only recruit people from certain backgrounds and certain experiences and different avenues, but now we've really widened the scope and look at the different age profiles that we have within the centre as well. So there's always going to be a slight restriction with age because of driving our cars and the insurances and the type of things they are, but the apprenticeship programme in after sales is the best avenue for someone who's young, who wants to leave after college, 16 years old, but not sure how they would get into a Porsche centre. So yeah, at 16 you can take an apprenticeship as a technician. It's a 3-year programme. You are employed by the centre, so you go on to a really competitive salary, and you are supported in that centre as you would be if you were a fully employed individual. So after that, the likelihood of being employed is more than not. It is an apprenticeship programme, so there's no guarantee, but like everything, it's the work rate that you put in and how hard you work with studying your exams and ensuring that you get through your grades will give you the high likelihood of then having a role within that business after that 3-year programme. We're really pro apprenticeship programmes within Porsche Retail Group. We currently have 4 apprentices operating within Porsche Guildford.
So let me just take you back a sec. I'm 16, 17.
Yes.
I want to join the apprenticeship. Is there any, do I need certain GCSEs? Do I need certain A-levels? Or do I need maths and English? Is it just the basics?
Yeah, just the basics. So we have 4 apprentices at the moment, of which one started when they were 16, and the others did choose to do their A-levels and then join after that. That is a choice of what they want to do. What's really nice to see is that 4 of our apprentices are female. 3 of our 4 apprentices are female.
So your the times have changed.
Times have changed massively.
So you're open to anyone becoming an apprentice.
Absolutely.
So they can come in 16, 17, 18, GCSEs, A-levels, male, female, get in. If you've got the right attitude, right work ethic, you're in.
Absolutely, and it is about that. It's when they're 16 years old, it will be completely unknown what their skill set is, and that's our responsibility along with the governing bodies to get them trained up. The apprentices are always paired up with the very experienced technicians, so it's a partnership. And that's a two-way thing. So we're obviously very careful at what technicians we use to be those mentors, but it's as much as what the apprentice wants to put in over that 3-year period as to what they'll get out at the end of it. But it's just so refreshing to see young people, both male and female, within the workshop, and we're seeing such a shift in the atmosphere within that, because it just used to be such a male-dominated environment, and that's not healthy in any workplace.
And have you seen many instances where people have joined through the apprentice scheme in the workshop and then moved into different departments?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing more and more on that, and it's all about that when you're within the business. Once you join that business, people get to know you, trust you, and see how you operate through the good times and the bad times. It's about that reliability, and we've seen that we've had people join as apprenticeships that now work within the sales environment, and it doesn't have to be that you join as a technician, you're always a technician. We have Porsche Pro roles, which are non-sales targeted roles, which are just about speaking to people and giving information and helping them. So it's lovely. You can join as a technician, then in 10 years' time you might end up being head of sales, or you might end up being centre principal.
So the training,
Yes.
I'm nervous, I'm 16, 17,
Yes.
I'm 18, and this is a very impressive showroom and everyone's very lovely and very welcoming.
Yes.
But it is quite daunting.
It is.
It's quite nerve-wracking because it's a young person coming in and it's a big brand. It's a bit of responsibility.
Yes.
And you're representing the brand.
Yes.
Do you have a very comprehensive training
Yes.
package that you put them on?
Yeah, absolutely, and you're right, and it is. We're very aware that when you bring a 16-year-old into a centre of this type, that it can be incredibly daunting.
Yeah.
So it's very much about putting boundaries in place that we know that they can explore and they can work on cars, but never to a point where they'll put themselves at risk or into a situation where they could damage a car that then would ruin their confidence. So it's a very slow process in the initial stages where we expose them by shadowing a very experienced technician at different points along the way, and hence why it's a 3-year program. So at end of that 3 years, they're effectively an entry-level technician, and then they can look, if they want to progress to becoming a bronze technician or a gold technician, which takes years and years. So it's a very, very slow process, which just gives them the best foundation, set them up for the future.
But I guess it's a foot in the door.
It is.
If you have the right attitude,
It
and you're consistent and you work hard,
Yes.
I guess the opportunities are there. So with your centre, what would you normally take on a yearly basis? A couple of apprentices, two? Or is it all every centre is different?
Every centre's different, and it depends on what cycle you're in. So as I say, they last 3 years, and most centres would want at least one. We have 4 because we are a big workshop and we do like to really champion having the apprentices in the business. So for us, it'll be as we get to the point where there's graduations happening, we would then look to see what the headcount would be and see how many we could take on. And to say it might be they graduate as technicians or they go at the end of the 3 years, do you know what, I'd now really like to explore a Porsche Pro role. And the scope is massive. The previous managing director of Porsche Retail Group started his career as a technician apprentice.
Oh wow, okay.
So that it does show that you can start at 16 years old as an apprentice and you can finish your career as a
So it's not a myth, it can actually happen.
It does happen.
Wow. And I guess, when you're young and this is probably one of the nicest brands to work with.
It is.
You have a variety of product, you have a variety of customers from different backgrounds.
Yes.
And it's not just one type of car, it's a variety of cars. You've now got EVs in the mix,
Yes.
you've got the standard 911s, you've got the race cars, the GT products.
Yes.
So you're surrounded by amazing cars, you've got a nice centre, and I guess it's down to the individual to put the work in.
Agreed.
And then they can progress accordingly.
It is. It's everything for me is about attitude. As an apprentice or as a trainee sales executive, these skill sets are known. So for me, it's always about the attitude, and we will always do our best to help people learn. But it has to be that what they give in, put into it, and there will be setbacks and there will be challenges, and it's how they grow and progress through those that will give them that best insight for the future.
So where do I look? There's a lot of centres. How many centres are there in the UK now?
44, I
Okay.
believe, yes.
So where do I find these apprentices? Where's
So there are governing bodies which operate the apprenticeship programs, but there'll be LinkedIn, there's all the normal avenues where you would expect the jobs advertised will be. And do you know what? There's no harm in popping into a centre and asking to speak to someone and just to understand what that program would entail.
Oh wow, okay.
As a Porsche retail centre, for us it's really important we represent the manufacturer. We would be more than happy to always speak to people about how they can get into that and what the program looks like.
And you're actively encouraging this, right?
Absolutely.
You're more actively, and even in this centre, I've walked around and you want people to come in, you want people to use the facilities, you want them to immerse into the brand, so it's all part and parcel. Right?
Absolutely, we built these big centres and to be a destination for people to come, whether it be to come and use as a workspace for a couple of hours, or people to come in that may never be in a position currently to buy a 911, but you know what? They should all have the opportunity to come in and sit in one. I can't think of another luxury car brand where you have a supercar, an SUV, an electric car all within one showroom. That's so aspirational for us. It's really important that everyone gets to touch and feel that brand, because you never know what happens one day.
Yeah, and it's also refreshing that you're encouraging the apprenticeship program, and it's not you're an apprentice and you stay in that box. You're saying you can progress within what we do in all sorts of facets.
Yeah, agreed. You just can't pigeonhole people anymore. It's completely acceptable for someone to start their career in one area and then take interest in another. I think you have that balance where you can't move around too quickly because you need to really understand and grow in that role. But for us to have someone start in one role and 10 years later having moved through 2 or 3 different jobs just gives them the wealth of experience to be able to then guide that next generation that comes through.
Brilliant. So one last thing. What one piece of advice would you give a young person who wants to work for Porsche?
Yeah, don't give up. You're going to get setbacks. You are going to go into centres, and there may not be a program at that time, or you may not be the person that gets selected for it. But don't give up. You've got to be resilient, and in any of these industries, there will be setbacks. But just keep pushing, and just keep putting yourself out there. And it can be a bit of a numbers game, and eventually it'll come to you if you keep trying.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's Tom from Porsche, and thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.